and now with more, and it's, I think the correct, I won't say it's disappointing, but the lack of whistleblowers is concerning in the sense that people still feel afraid to come forward and say, right, this is what this line manager was telling us to do. This is how we did it. This is where we did it. And basically coming out and saying that we were told to do things and the people that were telling us to do it. And that's concerning, that people are still not coming out and saying specifically who told them to do what.
Do you also think though that is because some of them, like going back to the fact that there were people who were aware there were loopholes, and that, like, I'm not saying all the whistleblowers are nefarious to a degree. What I'm saying is that considering how hot and volatile the situation is, and people were being convicted for essentially not having done anything wrong, like who would ever in their right mind want to throw themselves into that? I understand from where you're saying, which is the whistleblower would help put it into context.
I think the initial whistleblower eventually came forward when it became clearer that they'd have the protection of the court. And that's only recently. And I'm talking, I think it was 5 years ago or something. That person eventually went to court and said, right, this is what happened. It might have been a bit longer actually. And it's only in that time frame. Now, I'm talking about stuff that happened over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
From then, even up till now, there are very few all that have come forward. And even now, with the knowledge and the protections that are available to whistleblowers now,
true.
That's the disappointing part I'm talking about. Because when I think there'll be an element of people feeling culpable and am I going to be blamed? There's going to be part of that. But then equally, there should be a part now where people say, right, so it's widely known what was going on, what was at fault, and now it's more of a question of getting the post office to admit what they've done. Because Fujitsu literally threw them under the bus.
Well, Fujitsu came out, the guy said,
this year, hands up.
Yeah.
They knew that we knew that they knew, they didn't tell you when they knew.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's said. So Fujitsu have done something right.
Yeah.
However, admittedly 20 years too late.
Yeah.
The post office has still got that attitude that
it's not us.
It's not. I have experience of the current post office CEO. Yeah. So he used to be the CEO of NISA, who are our supplier for the shop.
Cool, I understand.
Right.
Okay.
So when I see him talking, I know that he is slippery.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he embodies all the bad behaviours that the post office have exhibited for decades, in suppressing people, doing things at extremely slow pace. So he came in, made a token gesture with the first settlement, knowing full well it was underhand in the sense that it was far too small.
Yeah.
Hence why you've now got the subsequent claims going on to increase the compensation. But the thing that he could and should have done is sped up the payment process and the claim process. And why is it so difficult for somebody to go into the post office, because there's only one shareholder, the government, and say, right, there's my USB stick, put everything on there,
and let's go through it. Yeah.
No one's done that.
No.
Because unfortunately, this is where the post office have been allowed to get away with it, because they know they've got the backing of the government's funding. They spent, I think the gentleman's name was Lee Cassato, I think they spent about £250,000-300,000 litigating his case to recover 25 grand. Because it's mining your taxpayer money they were using
to get the 25
grand back.
I see.
And this is where, because they knew they had the weight and they had the might to suppress people, if they came to me and said, right, we're taking you to court, which technically something I said in the other podcast they probably could, but I'm not bothered, because the company that he worked for before sent me a letter and said, if you talk about this, we're going to take you to court. Not this specifically, something else.
Yes.
I said, well, you can take me to court. I've spoken about what's on record fact.
Yeah. There's nothing that I'm adding to this.
I made an apology for one thing by naming two people who shouldn't have been named.